Hey, Walt and Mike here from StogieReview.com with another Herfing Heads video review thing. And this time around we are smoking a sample that has been released and readily available, even though ours still say sample on the band. And that is the Alec Bradley American Classic Blend. Now, this cigar came to me maybe months ago, a couple of months ago from Alec Bradley, and they sent 2 samples. So when Mike and I got together at Cigar Fest, I handed him one and I kept one, and the idea was to either do one of these Herfing Head videos or like a joint first impressions review or something like that. But you know, it was some time in between when I got them and when I got together with Mike, and then it's been a little while since Cigar Fest, so we are really late to the game with this particular cigar. However, I think Jerry smoked and mentioned this cigar in a weekend smoke, so you can actually get some a little bit of feedback on on the current release. I don't know whether things have been tweaked or not, but I would imagine with Alec Bradley sending out samples that this cigar would be in the final stages and have been released. So about this cigar, I've got the information sheet here. And comes in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sizes: Corona, Robusto, Toro, Churchill, Torpedo, and Gordo, which is a 6x60. MSRP ranges from $3.95 for the Corona up to $5.50 for the Gordo. The wrapper is Honduras Connecticut Shade. The binder is Nicaraguan Jalapa, and the filler is Nicaragua Esteli and Condega. So they don't give you the leaf types. They're just telling me that it's the binders Jalapa from Nicaragua, the regions and such. But basically, the little bit of description that they're giving me just says that it is mild to medium bodied, on and on and on, and they give you the flavor descriptions, but we don't need that because we're going to make it up as we go. So, Mike, take a good long look at your cigar and tell us about it.
It really, mine really looks nice. There's really no protruding veins or any major defects or anything else. The foot looks a little funky, and I don't know if it's almost like it's crooked. So maybe like the cutter was dull or something, and it just went crooked or got dinged against something. I don't know. But other than that, everything else looks really, really nice with the cigar.
Yeah, I agree. It's got a little bit of rough texture. It's kind of toothy. The color is really consistent head to foot. It looks really nice. It's got sort of a matte finish. Doesn't have much of an oily sheen. The light is glaring off of it, but it doesn't have that rich, oily appearance that you get in a lot of cigars. The cap looks neatly applied, and it rolls over the shoulder of the cigar quite a bit. One of the things I can't stand is when the cap just barely rolls over the shoulder, and then when you clip it, you end up with the cap falling off, and then you get that little ring that falls off, and then next thing you know, the cigar is unwinding. This one doesn't look like that is going to be an issue at all because of how far over the shoulder the cap rolls.
It looks nicely packed. There, focus. But mine doesn't feel real toothy. Mine's pretty smooth. I don't know why.
And the seam down the cigar is nice and straight, not all jagged. So, all in all, I think this is A+ as far as cosmetics go.
Yeah, definitely.
And it feels pretty packed. I'm not feeling any soft spots, so we should be pretty good when it comes time to cut and light the cigar.
I have a soft spot right at the band, right there. So I don't know if it's just the band or it feels like it pushes in a little too far to be just the band, but we'll see.
The aroma reminds me of farm country. It's got that little bit of a manure sort of aroma to it. When you're driving down the road and you have the farmer off in the distance spraying something out of the back of his tractor. You know what it is, but you don't want to know what it is. Next thing you know, you get hit in the face by that smell, and you're trying to roll up the windows real fast.
Yeah, that's my neighborhood. Yes.
Not quite as pungent, but it does have that sort of manure-esque sort of aroma.
Foot has more of a sweeter.
Yeah, you're right. It's definitely different than the wrapper.
Yeah, it's like a sweet hay kind of, or sweet tobacco. It's hard to discern for me.
I'll go along with that. Sounds good.
Sounds good. Let's go with that. We'll roll with it. All right. Snip this thing.
I really need to send my polio cutter back. It's getting pretty dull.
Now mine has a really, really loose draw.
So does mine. And I don't like the pre-light taste at all.
Yeah, it's kind of like a...
Like vomit. Alright, maybe not that far, but it's pretty bad.
Okay. That might be the first time anybody has used that term to describe.
Yeah, I really don't like that pre-light taste. We're gonna
funky natural factor. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's bad. We're gonna light it anyway. Let's see how it goes.
Hey, maybe you'll get the real thing coming up. Oh, this could be a good one.
Well, looks like Mike's using his creme brulee torch, and I am going to use Prometheus retro lighter. And in doing so, I'm going to pimp our contest a little bit more. If you'd like to win one of these Prometheus retro lighters, not this particular lighter, this one is mine and you can't have it. But if you want one that says Angelenos on it, look above, up there, if you're on StogieReview.com. There's a blue bar running across the screen. It's our contest announcement bar. Inside of that contest bar, there's a link. You click on it, it'll take you to the current contest. If you're watching this in the month of July 2011, and you can read the contest details and enter to win a free Prometheus retro lighter. And the retro part is the flint action, which is still pretty cool. I don't get tired of that. So, impressions of that first puff. Tell me it's not vomit flavored.
Kind of buttery. I'm really getting a buttery type taste. I mean, I don't think it's vomit with butter, but
Buttery vomits.
Yeah, that would be good. It's like popcorn the second time around. Spice through the retro ale. Not a lot, but
Yeah, it's kind of aggressive on the palate.
yeah.
It does sort of have a buttery taste, and it tastes nothing like the pre-light flavor. So that's just like, I had my fingers crossed that is a godsend that it doesn't taste like the pre-light draw, which is good.
Yeah, I was surprised that the spice, like you said, it's a little rough on the palate right away.
It's kind of heavy through the retrohale, through the nose, and it's making me think leather. It's got that leather sort of aroma to it, but it is kind of aggressive across the palate, and I don't know, in the back of the mouth where it sort of hooks around, and when you bring the smoke up, right back at that edge there, it's kind of aggressive.
Really has that buttery taste, though. I mean, I'm really getting that buttery taste. Yeah, leather, that might be leather in there.
Well, it's off to a decent start so far. So this is Herfing Heads. So let's get to the herfing part. So Mike, before we turned the camera on, we were actually talking about what we were going to smoke, and I suggested the Rocky Patel. I don't know. I don't remember what the actual name of the cigar is, but it's tied in with the National Rifle Association, and you told me that you didn't have any more because the box that it was in turned moldy, and you wound up throwing 30-some cigars away. So what happened?
Yeah, honestly, I guess the temperature just got too high all of a sudden, and we didn't have the air conditioners on in the house, and it was just, I'm surprised all my cigars didn't get it, but the ones I have up there, there were a couple boxes that got moldy, and I mean, it was, you know, they say, like, if you get mold on the wrapper, from what I've heard, you can, you know, kind of wipe it off, and you might be able to save the cigar, you know, as long as the mold doesn't produce any farther. But if it's on the foot, then it's inside the tobacco rolls, and you just pitch them. And every single one of them, it was right at the bottom of the foot. And I honestly have no idea what happened, how it happened. I mean, humidity went through the roof, temperature went through the roof, and it was on I guess it was on in the 3 different Tupperware containers.
Okay, so you had all this stuff in Tupperware.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought one of them was in the Vision humidor, but I don't think it was. I don't believe. I think it was all Tupperware. You know, some were smaller and higher, and some were the longer, skinnier type Tupperware.
How often are you in and out of your Tupperware containers?
It depends. I mean, Tupperware is nice. I can see right through it, so I can, you know, see the top, and I can pick it up and see the bottom. So I really don't open them unless there's something I want to smoke out.
I've always been kind of curious because Tupperware is kind of airtight. Your humidor, I mean, it's got your standard desktop humidor has a pretty good seal, but you know it does leak a little bit. So you know, I'm wondering if if you don't go into Tupperware terribly often, is it worth maybe putting a couple of pinholes in it to get a little bit of air exchange? I mean, I guess in the grand scheme of things, my coolers are no different because I have weather stripping around the top so that when the lid closes, it compresses the foam and, you know, creates a seal. So the only leak that I may or may not be getting out of my coolers is probably coming from that drain spout. And on most of my coolers, it's so clogged up with cigars, I don't see much air exchange getting in that way. So just a sort of a fleeting thought.
Well, I actually have, on the Tupperware containers I have, there's a little flip top piece on the top that you can open, and it has a little hole, you know, for air exchange that you can actually pop that open. I've never done it just because of the fact, I mean, I see around here, especially in Pennsylvania here, the humidity just goes bananas. I mean, sometimes, we could start the day out at 23% humidity, and by the time the day is over, we're up to 100. And then the next day, it can start at 100 and go back down to 23 for some reason. Mm-hmm. But, you know, and that's why I didn't leave them open. I was just afraid it would fluctuate it too much. But, I even had problems. Everything was raised, even in my regular humidor, with my cigar laces in it. And, you know, since I've taken them upstairs, because the air conditioner's been on now, and they've leveled out. So I'm hoping I won't have any more episodes of that. Lots and lots.
Yeah, everything that I have is down in my basement now, and you know, so it's naturally more humid than the rest of the house. You know, I haven't, because I have everything in either Ziploc bags with like a humidipack in them, or a travel humidor with a Boveda pack in them, or something like that. I haven't seen too much trouble, but you know, you can definitely feel that it's kind of humid down here. Every now and again, I'm really good for getting a cigar out, getting it ready to go, taking a picture of it, posting it online, and having it sit in the ashtray while I do something, then getting up and walking away from it. and then 2 hours later coming down to find the cigar ready to go in the ashtray. There have been times, especially when it gets really warm here, that I pick up the cigar and it feels like a sponge, because it's absorbed all the humidity that's in the air. So it gets kind of brutal here in the summertime.
Yeah, I agree. And it's just, it's hard unless you have a specific storage solution. But I mean, people have asked me, with beads or whatever, I had beads in some of them. I had that gel stuff in some of them. I had Boveda packs in some of them. And then I had, what is it, Humidipack, I think is another one, like Boveda.
Mm-hmm.
One of those. I had them. I mean, some of them I had more than one of them in at the same time. And it just kind of shocked me that they did that because, beads and gel, I think the Boveda packs too are supposed to absorb the moisture or the humidity if it gets higher than what they're set for. And it just must have, I mean, my gel was down where I could have added water to it, that it wasn't soaking wet yet. So I honestly don't know why.
And I think doesn't the gel have like inherent mold, anti-mold properties or something in it?
See, I thought I didn't really look up on it or anything, but I thought, like you said, it did. I'm really not sure. I really do not know.
Unless that doesn't get airborne, and that's just so that you don't get mold in the container. I don't know how that works.
Well, and see, after they might use something special in the gel, like those, like the liquid that they use. I just use distilled water. I don't buy that special.
Well, it's propylene glycol water mix.
Yeah, I don't buy that. I just use regular distilled water. Yeah, that's why.
Don't know. So how many cigars did you end up losing?
It was like 37.
I bet that hurt. And I guess it wasn't 37 devil's weed.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing. Not a single one of those damn things got mold. None of them.
Even mold doesn't want anything to do with the devil's weed.
Exactly. It's like the mold was smart enough to stay the hell away. But yeah, it was like 37. And, some of the stuff, like I had LFD Perfecto sampler. And, all those going. Visions. I had some Visions go. Oh, what else did I have? Oh, some of the VSGs.
I don't know that I'd have been giving up on those too easily. If I just saw mold on the foot, I might have just clipped the foot of the cigar and made sure that mold didn't get up inside.
I did. I clipped it on two of them, actually, because I was thinking the same thing. I didn't want to give up on them. And it was there.
Oh, wow. So it did get up inside.
Oh, yeah. And it was like, if it's there, I actually took one of them and tried to dissect it a little bit. And you could see it, like, on the inside. Instead of just on the outside, it was actually on the inside folds.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
That's why, and this happened, probably in a 2 to 3 day period. It was just amazing how quick all of it happened. Unless my hygrometers are that far off.
Yeah, mold happens really quick. I mean, not the same situation, but I have an old beer fridge. I mean, this thing has got to be from the 1950s. It's like, it looks like it was the Cadillac of refrigerators in its day. It was in the house when we moved in, and I've been using it for beer, but it runs constantly. And it's one of the types that doesn't have a self-defrosting freezer. So every now and again, you have to get in there with an ice pick and a hairdryer and bust all that stuff out. Well, I wasn't using it anymore, and I was keeping half a case of beer cold in it. So one day I just decided, you know what, I've got all these air conditioners running in the house. I'm just going to pull the plug, and that'll be the end of it. So I pulled the plug. I let it sit for 6 hours or something. I got most of the ice that had broken off inside the freezer out, and there's a drain in it. It goes down the back of the refrigerator and into a drain pan down behind. Well, there's like these rods that run through the top of the refrigerator section that I guess had coolant in them, and they condensed. And when I unplugged it, and I had some dripping inside the refrigerator. Well, when I went to clear out the beer and just get rid of it because it had been sitting for so long, I opened the refrigerator door up, and there was mold all over the bands for the beer, the labels and stuff. So, I mean, we're talking a period of 4 days. I had, like, super mold growth inside this refrigerator. I mean, it's cool, it's dark. I mean, it's prime conditions for mold. In clear Tupperware containers, it's hard to believe that, you can meet all of those conditions, especially in warm weather. But, mold just comes really fast.
And, I mean, here in the basement, I had everything in my basement, and, the only time I'm down here on that side of the basement is wash day, of course, because that's where the washer and dryer are.
Monday.
But, other than that, it's usually I'm on the other side of the basement over here at my laptop and, smoking a cigar or whatever else. So, it's still darker over there where I happen to sit. So, man, that's why. It was just, like you said, it was just the right conditions somehow. Because we don't have a lot of light here in the basement. I mean, we have just tiny windows, and it's all from the lights. So, who knows?
Well, we definitely have some more things to talk about, but let's kind of jump back to the cigar. How's yours going?
Sure as I'm in the middle of taking a puff. Yeah, it's alright. It still has that same type of taste for me. I'm not really digging the spice taste.
It's kind of aggressive.
Yeah, and it's kind of a funky taste. I don't know if it's just that buttery taste with it that's giving me that. It's like, it's not a clean spice taste that I'm getting.
I mean, I'm getting some actual spice through the sinus, but I don't know that I would say the aggressiveness on my palate is that spice. I think it's just some harshness in the cigar.
Yeah, that could be too.
But it's definitely irritating the back of my throat, the base of my sinus. I don't even know what the technical term for that is, like way back in here. But that base thingy is kind of agitated a little bit. But, the flavor profile is not bad. It's kind of buttery, spicy through the sinus. And that's about it. I mean, it's got a mildly creamy texture to it. It's not incredibly complex. But it's really not bad. This was billed as a mild to medium cigar when I saw that paperwork. And remember, I handed you the cigar. I said, this is supposed to be mild to medium. This will probably be a good coffee cigar. But, it doesn't have that light and fluffy sort of creamy texture that I like with a morning cigar. It's got more of an aggressive spiciness.
Yeah, it really does. And I noticed that.
I mean, this thing says Connecticut Shade, but it doesn't taste like Connecticut Shade.
No, it really has that spice. Like you said, I mean, you can feel it along the back of your tongue and the back of your throat. A little surprising.
Okay, wrapper Honduras-Connecticut Shade. So either that's Connecticut Shade grown in Honduras, or it's available in both Honduran, with a Honduran wrapper and a Connecticut Shade wrapper. This definitely does not look like Connecticut Shade. So I don't know. So I think they've tricked me into thinking that this would be a light and fluffy coffee cigar, and it's not.
Yeah, I mean, the body's not real bad on it, but, I mean, or the strength, or whatever you want to call it. But, yeah, that spicy just slams in your face and really, really gets you. Like I said, I feel it a lot, like, at the very back of my tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, are you drinking coffee?
No, actually, we ran out. My wife was over the store last night picking up groceries, and she decided she was going to use this Bed Bath and Beyond coupon that came, and she was going to, because Keurig coffee kind of gets expensive, and so we buy all our coffee over at Bed Bath and Beyond when we get these coupons that show up constantly. We don't buy anything else there, so I mean, I think we buy trash bags for the trash can we have. That's about it, and because it takes like specialty bags. That's another story. Thanks to Jerry. That was a housewarming gift. Awesome trash can, but bags get expensive as all hell. But at any rate, she didn't get back over to the store to pick up coffee. I was going to run out to the local gas station, which has decent coffee, big sheets, and pick some up. But it was getting late, and I didn't want you to wait too long. So I skipped the coffee, and I just filled up my water bottle, and I haven't touched it yet. I mean, the cigar isn't like really dry and making me crave some sort of liquid. But I don't know that this would necessarily have gone really well with coffee.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I mean, I drank coffee earlier, went through the pot, and now I got my Coke. But yeah, I'd be afraid now. Maybe with a real dark black, heavy coffee, it might have melted with that spice, maybe. Kind of taking a little edge off of it, per se. The bitterness of the coffee.
Well, the only way I drink coffee is black. I don't like adding crap in it. But even so, I don't know that. I'm kind of looking back beyond the camera at my booze shelf, and I think that the spicy quality of this cigar would go well with like a sweet rum, like Zaya. I mean, it's 9:56 a.m. I won't be reaching for that bottle of Zaya anytime soon.
Oh, come on! Look, I got mine.
Just pull the cork and slam it. See how it goes with the cigar.
I might do that then. I just say. Hell. I need to get more too, man. I mean, I had 2 bottles, and well, the one we took up to Cigar Fest, and then this was the one that I still had here, and there's like about that much in both of them.
Yeah, I've got a bit more than you, but I've got less than a half a bottle left. What I like to do is every now and again I go into the liquor store if I'm passing by and I just look, because a lot of times it goes on sale for like $35 a bottle instead of its usual $40 price. And if I see it go on sale, I usually pick up 2 bottles.
Yeah. Well, that's, and a lot of people are out there going, you pay how much? Yeah.
Yeah.
Here in Pennsylvania, we can't order online to have it shipped here because of our awesome laws.
And notice I was telling Mike that it's $35 a bottle when it's on sale because it goes on sale in the entire state. It's like my store doesn't have it cheaper than Mike's store. It's everything is collective.
Yep. But yeah, I mean you can find that online. It's under $30 a bottle, I think, easily.
I think someone mentioned getting it out in California for $20-some a bottle in the low 20s.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? We pay, alcohol taxes are relatively high, but we have no tax on cigars. So
For now.
It's I'm okay with it the way it works out. I smoke a lot more cigars than I drink bottles of booze.
Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of rum, switch my earbud over here. It kind of irritates my ear after a little bit. But it was my father's birthday last week and a half ago, something like that, and I stopped into the local liquor store. I wanted to get him a bottle of Ron Zacapa. I don't know if you've ever tried it. It's kind of like Zaya, but I think it might be a little sweeter, and it's a little smoother. Actually, I like it neat. I don't add any ice to it, but it's a bit more expensive. But I couldn't find it in the store, and I haven't been able to find it in a couple of the stores that I've gone to. So, I asked the guy if he had any in the back or anything, and he looks it up and he says, "Oh, that's an $80 bottle of rum." No, it's not. You must be looking at the wrong thing. It's like 45, something like that. And I didn't end up getting it, couldn't find it. But if you ever get the chance to try the Ron Zacapa, the 23 Salerno or whatever it is, it's a blended rum. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I've tried that. I mean, like you. I mean, I don't drink a whole lot. I mean, this is the first, other than wine, that I've drank in years. And I don't have it every night. Have some in the morning, especially when I'm doing a review.
Yeah, I usually, a bottle of Zaya might last me a month and a half before I drink it all.
Well, like I said, I've had these, and I haven't really had any. I just haven't.
It's not what I heard on Stogie 411.
Yeah, well, I kind of, like the review you saw on Saturday, yeah, that was in the morning. I started there. But, yeah, like I said, they're so far down now, and with all the cigars I just lost, I need to get the permission from the boss to replace some of the stuff.
So have you bought any more cigars after that huge spending spree you went on with Cigar Bid?
No.
No.
No, I mean, I bought a couple local over there in Columbia, and I bought some like at Old World when I met up with Corey.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I haven't.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me. Old World with Corey. I guess we're arranging a bit of a herf coming up in a week or two, something like that. We still haven't completely ironed out the details. But if you're local to either Lancaster or Columbia, we're probably going to be getting together at one of those shops. A couple of us for birthday herf.
Yeah, definitely. We just have to figure out.
So if you're local, send us an email or something and let us know that you're interested in hanging out, and we'll include you in the mass email that we send to one another about dates and times or whatever we work out.
Yeah, definitely. It's I mean our timing is off just because this year IPCPR falls close to the same time that we're talking about doing the herf.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, so it looks like we're probably going to do it the week after IPCPR, which allows Jerry to come hang out if he's able to make the drive. It's going to be like 2.5, 3 hours for him. Yeah. And some of the other local guys, like Dave from Oliva, may be in town the week after the trade show, so really don't know what's going on. But want to make sure that it's sort of open to everyone in the general area that otherwise might be at the trade show.
Yeah, definitely. And they're both nice location. I mean, each of them has lounge space. It's the one has a private membership for the lounge, for one part of the lounge, but the rest of it's all public. And then the other location, it's as long as you buy a cigar, you can use the lounge space.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn. I like the prices in Columbia, but I like the coffee in Lancaster.
I don't know. I can't remember when Corey and I were there. I don't even think she was doing the coffee when we were there. I don't think you could get coffee.
No. Really?
Yeah, I can't remember. Well, I haven't been there. I go there.
I haven't been there since that Oliva event.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just, we're driving 45 minutes to an hour, and they're doing construction over the bridge over the Susquehanna River, and it can just be a nightmare to get there. And, but yeah, so normally I just head over right to Columbia because I can get there, through back roads and don't have to worry about all the traffic and crap. But, yeah, I can't remember. I have to ask Corey, if you're watching this, let us know if you remember, because I'm old. I can't remember.
Actually, I've been hanging out with Corey a little bit. We get together at the one local cigar shop that I refuse to go to. been going anyway. They changed the manager, and it's much more comfortable. Although the guy that's over there like follows you around, and it's really annoying. And I seem to think that I told you this already, but I went over there and I was meeting Corey one day, and I got there early, so I went in to the humidor, and that guy was sitting like on one of the recliners or something watching TV, and I was in the humidor, and like 2 minutes later he gets up, follows me in, and he asked me if I need any help. I tell him no, I'm good. I'm just kind of looking around. So like he's like goes to the back corner of the humidor and just stands there, and he's watching me the whole time and picking cigars and stuff. And every time I glance over at him to see like if, do you want to talk to me or something? Like he like would look down at his phone and start typing. So like he's probably telling the Twitterverse all about this this guy that's like trying to steal stuff in his humidor or something. But so I grabbed a handful of cigars, and then on my way out I held the door for him because I knew he was behind me. And like as soon as he sees me holding the door for him, he like panics and no, I'm not coming out just yet. And he goes back to typing on his phone. I was like, okay, and let the door close, and then I'm standing there at the register, and a minute later he comes out and rings me up. And then the same exact thing happened when Corey came in, and then I met Paul there, and Paul's telling me the same thing. He's like, I'm in the humidor, and this guy's following me around, and I held the door for him, and he panicked. He didn't know what to do. So
I think I would go there. Wow.
So I don't know whether they're telling him, you need to be more diligent on shoplifting in the humidor, or whether it's just his style, but it's just kind of weird. You get that uncomfortable vibe in there. I mean, it's definitely better than that drama that you used to get over there, right. But it's still not the ideal shop, and I try only going when I'm meeting someone. I won't go over there just to hang out on my own like I used to at Kennington. But it's a place to hang out that's convenient and local. We got together, did some shooting and smoking at a local range, which was fun too. So, we've hung out a few times, and we've got some places to go.
He's a nice guy. But around here, like I said before, I mean, for me to even get to a cigar shop, I'm looking at half-hour drive. For the closest one, and now that one that's inside the beer distributor doesn't even have a lounge anymore. Uh-oh, my earpiece is now dying. Yay! Okay, might be switching to the big microphone here shortly. But so I don't really get out to a cigar shop very much.
So the beer distributor did have a lounge, you were saying?
Yeah, it was just it was almost like a little closet. Like a walk-in closet, basically. It was...
Yeah, they had a closet. You push the coats out of the way, you sit down on a bucket and smoke your cigar.
No coats or anything, but, it was maybe 8 foot wide, and then a good, probably 20, 30 foot long, maybe. It wasn't anything that was just enormous. Mm-hmm. And, he took that away now, and he just has that as his office. So...
How many people were using it, do you think?
Probably not many.
And so it probably wasn't worth it to keep it going.
Exactly. I mean, a lot of the guys, if they would come in there, they would probably come in for beer, mm-hmm. and just pick up a couple cigars to take with them. I think a lot of people came in just to grab stuff, to go. I never used it. But, so, like I said, now the closest one is over there in Columbia.
Relatively close. I think there's like 5 shops where I can buy cigars, but only 2 of them have a lounge. We're talking like within 15 minutes. There's probably 5 stores that I can buy from, but only two of those 5 allow smoking.
Right. We have custom blends. I don't even know if they still sell cigars. I just refuse to go there and buy cigars anymore. But it's like one of the head shops, They'll sell all the nice incense, and you walk in the store and it's like, oh, God, kill me now. That kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. you know, roll your own tobacco stuff, you know, all that kind of thing. But yeah, I just quit buying there because it just they don't have much of a selection for cigars in the first place. And if you go to a cigar shop, they seem to be in a lot better condition than in one shop like that. And of course, I mean, we have some gas stations that have cigars here and there, but
that's the bulk of what we have. Is a lot of gas stations that are owned by the same guy, and you know, he's more of a convenience store guy. And amongst the the potato chips and soda and lottery tickets and cigarettes, he's got a cabinet or two of cigars in each store. One of the stores, he's actually got quite a few cigars, several cabinets, and he seems to do fairly well. But I don't get over there very often, and I don't like buying cigars from a place that I can't smoke in. I mean, I might as well just get them online. It's more or less the same thing. Or pick up the phone and order them from like Buckhead.
Yeah, especially if you want bundles. Buckhead's the guy to call. Yes, I had to get that in. Okay. But, yeah, other than that, there's just no place really around here. And most of the time I'm smoking here at home anyway, and a lot of you know, with my neck the way it is, I don't have my own car. We just have the one car. And, I just don't get to go really. And I don't know if I really would, in all honesty. I mean, like you said, it's nice when you can meet up with people. It's nice when you can hang out at a shop, and talk to people or whatever. But like, the place in Columbia, there is no real tobacconist, I guess. The only place would be over at Old World. You could sit, you could talk, you could discuss different cigars coming out, things like that. Where at the place in Columbia, it's just basically, you have to know what you want really. They can help maybe a little, but which is all right. I mean, prices are awesome. I can forego that little part with those good prices.
Yeah, so I guess it's not new cigar smoker friendly, but the experienced guy will find great deals.
Yeah, and I mean, usually, like, if you're there, if somebody's in the humidor, you could always ask them a question, and they might be able to help you. I mean, I had two people actually do that to me already when I was there. They just asked. They didn't know, I was a Stogie review or anything. They just thought I was a knowledgeable-looking guy. And yeah, I don't know. They thought I was a woman at first and tapped me on the shoulder. Hey.
Well, Mr. Knowledgeable-looking cigar guy, how is your Alec Bradley Classic Blend going?
Actually. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, maybe I have been hitting those eyes. The spice, the roughness at the back of my tongue and everything has actually died down some for me. It's still that buttery taste, and it's still more of a almost just like a natural tobacco that I'm getting from it. I mean, some of that, like you said, that leather, I was associating the leather more with the spice taste along with the other taste, and it seems to have died down some for me.
Yeah, I'm not getting so much of that leather taste anymore. It's getting a little on the grassy side. It's the way I'm perceiving it. But the flavor profile hasn't seemed to change up much. It's still kind of aggressive. It's the finish is becoming a little more neutral. Where before it was a little on the creamy side, now it's not really creamy but not really dry. It's just kind of in the middle. And it's probably medium bodied, low end of medium. I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah.
But it's not something to stop and cheer about. I won't be calling I won't be calling on my friends saying, you need to go out and buy this Alec Bradley Classic Blend. But,
yeah, so far,
not bad.
With these, now unless if this wasn't the actual final release blend, I'd like to try one of the release ones just to see. But so far, I like the New Wave the best still.
I think it's kind of like apples and oranges. They taste wildly different. But yeah, if given the choice between a new wave and the classic blend, I'd take the new wave every time.
Well, now what?
Well, just kind of glancing back at the little bit of notes that I put together for this little episode here. The next thing on my notes says that we need to address the iTunes issue. We recently received an email, I think it actually came in yesterday, where someone was looking for Stogie Review on iTunes and they could not find us. This has actually been a problem for a little while now, several weeks, and it is completely my fault. I got us booted from iTunes, and I got us. And Jerry loves telling everyone this because he's telling everyone, all these years I thought it was me that's going to get us booted from iTunes, dropping the F-bomb, but sure enough, it was me. I got us booted for erotica. Apparently, my Donkey Punch review was considered erotica, and got us banned, or not banned, but iTunes kicked us out of the public search. If you were subscribed to our feed, you would still get all the episodes, but you were not able to do a public search and find Stogie Review up until very recently. I think Jerry finally got everything worked out, and Stogie Review should be back in the iTunes public search feed within the next 48 hours or something like that. So we were out for a couple of weeks, ever since I did that Donkey Punch review.
Your fault. Oh, your fault.
Amazing, the guy that doesn't swear or anything like that in the videos, does one little outrageous kind of 1 minute tack on at the end of a review, and it gets us booted from iTunes. Not booted, but.
You're now the Stogie Review bad boy.
Apparently. So if you were searching for us and couldn't find us and was wondering why, it's because I did something really bad and got us in trouble. But we should be back now.
Oh, that is awesome. And
if you're interested in seeing the review that got us in trouble, it's still on Stogie Review. The video is just hosted on YouTube. What happens is all of our videos are hosted on Blip TV, and that feed is pumped into iTunes. You can fix that, and I'll keep talking. But at any rate, the Blip TV videos are pumped into iTunes, and that's where you see everything. So when iTunes was telling us that it was erotica and causing all kinds of problems, then I had to pull the video from Blip TV, and that would have essentially meant pulling it off of Stogie Review, but we use YouTube as a backup service. So the video is still there. It's YouTube. The video quality is a little lower, but it all works. And now we have our radio DJ ready to go.
Can you hear me?
Wow, yeah, I can hear you all right. Let me turn my volume down.
Yeah, well, my earpiece decided to die. I guess the battery is dead on it, and you can't plug it in and keep using it, which is really stupid. But thanks, Microsoft.
On the bright side, that microphone sounds much better.
Oh yeah. I mean, this when Mike sent me this, and it's just amazing. It's just that you have this in the this whole big thing in the picture rather than just that little earpiece thing. So sorry about that, folks. I know you missed me.
So the recap, if for Mike, is that the video is available. It's hosted on YouTube, and it is still on Stogie Review. Just look up the Studio Tobacco Donkey Punch Maduro review if you'd like to see what got us in trouble.
You're so evil.
Go figure. After all these years, I was the one that got us in trouble. It's funny.
Oh, it would have even been better if it would have been Brian that actually did a video review and it went up on iTunes and that got us banned. Because that happens once every 4 years.
That would have been great. It's like a leap year, just once every 4 years. So, the next topic of discussion, we're kind of burning through these relatively fast. But Cigar Expo. I'm not going to be going to IPCPR this year. It really sucks because everyone I talk to keeps asking me if I'm going to be in Vegas, and I have to tell all of them no, and I get bummed out every time I have to do it. But part of the reason was IPCPR's late announcement of the blogger rules and regulations and things like that for the membership, which kind of sucks that it happened like 6 weeks before the trade show, and rates started to rise shortly before they announced the way that things were going to work. So with an increased cost and things just being really slow for me at work, I really couldn't afford to take a week's vacation from work with things as slow as they are, because if a layoff crops up, I need to use that vacation time, to cover the layoff rather than just sit around twiddling my thumbs collecting unemployment.
Right.
So I'm not going to be doing IPCPR this year. Instead, I would like to do a couple of the smaller events. The Famous Cigar Expo is coming up in August, which I plan on doing. There's like a Delaware cigar something. It's at a racetrack down in Delaware, which I would like to go to. I think we need to iron out like the press pass things or something like that. I think Jerry's been in contact with them, and once I get the information from him, I'll know definitely whether I'm going. But at this point, I am very interested in going, and if we can get press passes, I will drive down to Delaware and cover the event. And that's about it as far as the smaller events go that I'm aware of. I would like to do a tweet up. If I can fly down to like Atlanta or something like that and hang out at Buckhead, that would be fantastic. We could do that over a weekend or something. But I don't know what's in the works. I know that Chattanooga tweet up is like really soon, and I don't think I'll be able to make that because it's just too close at this point. But something I want to do, and there's 3 events that I can do over the course of weekends where I'm using like virtually no vacation time, and it gets me out to more events. It's really unfortunate that I'm not going to be able to see all the manufacturers that I generally see at IPCPR because the vast majority of them, I only see them once a year at the trade show, and that's going to kind of suck. But with Twitter and stuff, we still keep in touch, Twitter and Facebook and things. But among those events that I'm going to be going to is Cigar Expo. So, Mike, tell us about Cigar Expo. What do you want to do there? I mean, what is the because you will be going with me. What is the agenda as far as you're concerned for coverage?
Smoking cigars. Oh, we have to cover it. Oh, damn. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's last year it's a smaller event than like a cigar fest or anything. The biggest thing I think this year I would like to get done is actually see the new building, because Famous is or has already moved, I guess, or they're moving this weekend or something to their new building. It's going to be interesting because they have a restaurant there. They're going to have, I think, a bigger retail store space once it gets done. And I would really like, last year I never had the chance, to do like a sort of tour thing or anything like that. And it'd be really nice this year if we could get to do that with their new facility. That's one thing I really am looking forward to. I want to see the new layout that they have, because you were up there. At Famous, they even say the retail store space was an afterthought. It's just a little right there inside the door, and they never even thought about doing it until after the store was built. So or the building was already done. So with them pre-planning this, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if you were going to do a tour last year, it would have been, here's the retail space. You turn around once and video's done. It's really, there's nothing to it. Or outside there's a porta potty. 2 of them, actually. And there's a parking lot. And there's a couple of offices. But, Brian and I got the tour when we went. But we weren't allowed to see the warehouse space. We couldn't see what we were allowed to step in the door, and we were contained to this like square on the ground, so we could look around from the door. But that was about it. I would imagine it's going to be more or less the same thing at this new location, where we can't really see warehouse space, but the store will be bigger. There's a larger lounge to look at and things like that.
Yeah, it's and it's always nice to see the manufacturers, the reps. It's going to start getting kind of odd. I'm used to seeing Jose Blanco at every event, that you go to, and with him retiring, I guess he won't be doing much of that. I don't know if he'll still come to hang out at some of them, some of the bigger events or anything like that, or how that's going to work. But I'll miss seeing him there. He's a really nice guy. Little touch up here. But other than that, the other aspect we were talking actually before the show that I think is going to be neat is this year, Cigar Expo is after IPCPR. So anything that they were releasing at IPCPR or talking about at IPCPR is already out there. So, we'll be able to talk to them more about that depending, if there's anything else left to cover. Where last year it was before IPCPR and nobody wanted to say much because IPCPR was coming up.
Oh, yeah, I failed to mention even though I won't be going to IPCPR, Brian and Jerry will. So stay tuned for all the IPCPR coverage. I think Jerry's only going for 2 days, but the plan is to get as much done as possible in those 2 days. And I think Brian's there all week. So, you should be seeing lots of updates from him and, Twitter stuff and things like that. Maybe we can convince him to
Sure.
type stuff and do a couple of write-ups on things.
Oh, yeah. Like you said, Jerry and Brian will be there, so there will definitely be coverage for IPCPR. But I'd like to get to some more of the events too, like you said. Some of the smaller things that are around here. It's just like with flying with me, it's just not a pretty sight. So going away for a weekend, down to Atlanta or something, I don't think it would work out too well. Well, it'd be cool to do. So what are you looking forward to?
At Cigar Expo, you mean?
Yeah, at Expo.
Seeing people. Every year I say the same thing. I want to spend more time hanging out with people and less time working, and I end up, doing a lot of working and a little bit of hanging out. With lots of tables and food and the beer flowing, things like that. I hope to do a lot of hanging out this year, as opposed to Cigar Fest, where there was a lot of running around. We did get to hang out with quite a few people, but not nearly as much as I would have liked.
Yeah, now the thing with Expo also, depending on what hotel we get to stay at, everybody meets up outside usually of the hotel in the evening, and it makes it nice. You can hang out, you can get to see people and everything else like that. And like I said, the event's smaller, so like you said, we could sit down at a table, and we can get to meet a lot of people because they'll actually see us. We won't just blend in with 3,000 other.
Yeah, because Cigar Expo is, I would imagine it's quite a bit smaller than Cigar Fest, even though they are going to a bigger facility and things. I would think we should be able to cover it relatively quickly. I know when I went 2 years ago, walking the area, the tent was pretty quick. Like 30 minutes, and you were done, more or less.
Yeah. Like I said, it is definitely a lot smaller, but it's more sociable, should we say, I guess. And I don't know how they're going to do that. Last year they did, like, with the food and everything, it was outside in a tent. I don't know if they're going to use their restaurant for that this year or not.
I don't know, but there is a menu available on the website, and it says something about like burgers all day with dinner later on. So if you can just like go grab a burger or something and a beer, that's awesome. How can you beat that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You're Definitely. Walking around in the heat, you're getting hungry and thirsty. Just go to the food tent or restaurant or whatever, grab a burger and a beer. That's awesome.
If you would like to meet me, see me at the food tent. I'll get a special reserved seat for me.
And Mike will have breakfast, second breakfast, lunch, second lunch, third lunch, and dinner. and just email us for a time slot, and Mike will fit you into his schedule.
And Walt will be covering the event. But yeah, that's the main thing I'm looking forward to, is just the new building, just to see. And like you said, I mean, the people. It's always great to see the people. It's like a once a year, twice a year thing. There's that many people in one area that we can get to meet. I met quite a few last year. It was a good time.
Maybe like Cigar Fest, you'd be able to introduce me to one or two of them.
One or two, probably 500, 600. That is still the best thing. I'm telling you. I tell everybody that little story. I think I even told Corey that.
Yeah, because he told me.
Yeah, see? Yep. Yeah, that was awesome. But, anyway, I mean, now, like that Delaware event that you were talking about, I didn't really hear anything about that.
I got a Facebook public event invite thing for it. And since you're anti-Facebook and never use it, you probably wouldn't have seen it.
Yeah, I saw it had like 6 invites to stuff, and I didn't know what it was really. So I just...
9 times out of 10, I click that little X and delete it. Because a lot of times it's for out-of-state events, and if I accept it because my phone's tied in, I get like I get reminders and everything else for events in other states that I have like no interest in even knowing about. And I got my phone reminding me, in 15 minutes you're supposed to be in Sacramento. I'm like, okay.
Nice. Hop on that supersonic jet and get there. Yeah, I really haven't. I'm just not a big Facebook. I can see Google Plus is going to be that way too. It's going to be nice for, like a Google Wave type thing, for people to get together in small groups, discuss things, stuff like that. But other than that, it just reminds me really of Facebook. That's what I got Twitter for.
Apples and oranges, man. They're totally different services.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot different.
Yeah. But anyway. So what else we got to talk about? Nothing.
I don't know, but I see a long, drawn-out, uncomfortable silence heading our way really fast because we're out of topics. And just to give me a little time to look quickly on Facebook and Twitter and things for discussion topics, why don't you tell us more about the Alec Bradley Classic Blend? Since it looks like you're further along than I am, you have the band popped off yours.
Yeah, I took the band off. I have about, 3 inches, something like that left. Mine has really lost that harsh edge that it had to it. It really came back down. I still get the spice through the retrohale. I still get that taste, though. And it's something, I really can't put my finger on it, but it's with the spice. It's something that just, it's not a very palatable taste, let's say. It's okay, but like if I would have it in something with food, I probably wouldn't eat that food anymore. Hangs around a little bit, in the aftertaste. Take a puff here and see how the spice is through the sinus here again, while Walt looks down at his laptop
and sees nothing.
Yeah, it's still spice through the nasal cavity, but that even doesn't seem as pronounced as it was earlier. Now on the after, actually, it gave me a little bit of a burn. Not much, but that was kind of neat. Still that buttery taste. I mean, I am really getting that buttery taste out of this cigar. It's kind of cool.
So, I can't find anything, and your description sounds really good. Ditto. So what have you been smoking that's been good this week?
Oh.
Well, not necessarily this week, but, lately. As of late.
Definitely new waves. I'm still waiting for a box of them to come in. at the shop over there in Columbia, and I ordered a box from them. I just absolutely think they're a wonderful cigar, and I just can't keep them around. I just keep smoking them whenever I get them. What else have I smoked?
Well, speaking of the new wave, we can kind of bounce back and forth. I guess it was a couple of weeks ago, I got a direct message from Ernesto Perez Carrillo, and he says, "Hey, Walt, what do you think of the 60 ring gauge trend, or 60 ring gauges in general?" So we got to talking a little bit, and he says, "I want to send you some samples, and I want to see what you think of them." So he sent me some samples of a 60 ring gauge EP Creo New Wave, and I got to say, it's really good. I don't know that I like it more than the smaller sizes, but it's very good. I mean, I've had a little bit of burn problems with them, but let's say I've smoked 5 of them. I may have had burn problems with 2. So I don't know whether it's consistent. It's a consistent problem, or if it's just 2 and then 5, or whatever, however it worked. But they were pretty good. They were unbanded, and actually I got another sampler pack today, or the other day, from EPC. And it contained one of the new 60 ring gauge New Waves. The ones that I got didn't have a band on them, but this one does. Big, giant, big, fat 60 ring gauge EP Creo New Wave band.
Right up my alley. I've had the Robusto, the Churchill, and the Toro in the New Wave. I'd never had they have a Corona or something out, don't they? And now it's 60, but I think they have a Corona.
I'm not sure. I've always the box that I bought was Robusto. I've had some Toros before that. Actually, I think the Toros were a little better than the Robustos. And I mean, the 60 is richer, but it doesn't have the same level of strength that you get from, say, the Robusto or the Toro. And I do kind of like that strength in contrast with the richness of the flavor profile.
Yeah, and the Churchill I didn't think was. It was all right. I could smoke them, but I still think the Toro size was the best for me, from the ones that I've smoked. Now, like you said, that 60, I'd definitely be interested. I'll have to keep checking for them to see how that smokes. Now, how about time of smoke for that 60? Was it increased, or did it smoke in about the same amount of time as like a Toro?
It took quite a while for me. I mean, I went shooting one morning, and I lit up a 60 ring gauge New Wave, and I went shooting. I stopped and got coffee on the way home. So I mean, I wasn't smoking it like I typically smoke a cigar. It was more delayed. The cigar sitting on the shooting bench while I shoot and stuff. So dragged out. I mean, I think I got like 4 hours out of that by the time I got home, and I think I had to relight it once or twice. So I mean, if you're doing something, actively doing something where the cigar is spending a bit of time in the ashtray, I mean, you can easily get like 4 hours out of it. But I don't know what you would get just sort of sitting down smoking it. I think I got like 3 hours out of it, or something.
Nice. That's what I like. I mean,
But I'm a slow smoker. I mean, it's really tough to gauge smoke time based on my cigars. I mean, I keep pace with you when we're doing these videos because they're more active. You're smoking a cigar, you're talking, things like that. But if I'm just down here by myself, I find myself setting a cigar in the ashtray a lot to answer an email, to do something on Twitter, to look up something. So the ashtray time is greater than when we're in front of the camera and stuff. So
I try to smoke quicker when I'm on camera with somebody because normally I smoke slow. We would have a Herfing heads. We should do those 60s. Have a 4-hour-long Herfing heads. But yeah, I mean, I'm probably about where you are. I'm not smoking too much fast.
Mine's getting pretty potent though. I'm here. I can't get real close to the camera because I got a laptop in my lap. But resting smoke is like taking my breath away, making my eyes sting. I got a draft coming at me and drifting this way, so I'm trying to keep the cigar at arm's length away from me because it's getting pretty potent.
Yeah, when I smell the smoke, the smoke is it's not a real pleasant smelling smoke. But I have a window here that's open, and I have my air purifier just blowing air basically because it doesn't purify shit. But blowing it and to try to put it out the window more. I don't know about you, but the way the cigar tastes, I actually like the way it tastes better now than I did in the very beginning.
And the other way, I liked it better
Really?
earlier on. It seems to be really aggressive now. I mean, we didn't talk much about the way it burns. I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 hunks of ash in the ashtray, and they're all consistently half-inch long. So, I mean, the ash isn't really strong. This isn't something that I would smoke when I'm reading because I'm not really paying attention to it. Next thing you know, I've got it in my lap. It's all over my book, things like that.
Right.
The burn line is great. It's nice and thin. It's even. The ash holds a nice shape. It's just not very strong. But construction-wise and visually, the cigar is impressive. Taste-wise, it's mediocre, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I wanted to say it's. I'm not going to rush out and buy boxes of them or anything else.
But I know you've got some guy sitting down in front of his computer watching this right now, and he's going, "But it's a $4 cigar. What are you guys complaining about? It's mediocre." Not really complaining about it, but this size is $4.50.
Right.
Right? No, $4.75.
$4.75.
But I don't know. It's cheaper than a La Traviata, but it's not as good as a La Traviata.
Well, and it's, I guess it's a little bit cheaper than a New Wave.
Yeah.
But not by much.
Well, New Wave Robusto is $5.25. At least that's what I was paying for.
Oh, okay.
But again, I don't know that this is even in the same league as the New Wave. They're just very different, very, very different. I wouldn't.
It is, yeah, and I agree.
I
mean, it's really a different type of smoke, and that's the hardest thing, when you try to compare it to something. I mean, no cigar is right there with another one usually. It's like, okay, Connecticut shades, and you lump all Connecticut shades together. But like you said, it really doesn't look like a Connecticut shade. Oh, mine's getting a crack. Oh, isn't that nice?
So you smoked the EP Carrillo New Wave and liked it. You smoking anything else that you like?
Well, there's the crack. See that crack going across there?
Yeah. It's like a hieroglyphic snake.
Yeah, it's kind of freaky. But anyway, oh, and now of course my camera won't refocus.
Just whack
Anyway.
it.
Yeah,
Fixed.
pretty much. Just throw it up against the wall. Wow, what have I been smoking that I liked? I smoke a lot of the same stuff all the time. I live in a section, I'm not at the point where, I don't get like review samples like you guys do, or not review samples, but test blends or, anything that people want me to try usually. So most of my stuff I'll find locally, and locally it usually takes a while for the stuff to get here. It's kind of strange to shop in Colombia usually gets things before anybody else for some reason. But I had Emilio cigars. He sent me sample or one of each of the AF1, AF2, and the Grimaldi or the one that Brian reviewed.
Jerry reviewed? Jerry reviewed that.
Oh, Jerry did that?
Grimalkin, or whatever it is.
They're easy to confuse. Anyway, but I the AF1, AF2 I actually enjoyed more than that one. Other than that, I've been, CAO Golds I still smoke. The Visions I enjoy, but I lost all them too. I really can't think of anything that just pops out that I've smoked that was just so awesome. What have you been smoking?
Well, I did get I mentioned that sampler from EP Carrillo. and it was the first. Inside of it was an EP Carrillo core line Maduro, and it was the first time I had ever had a Maduro from EP Carrillo. I smoked the Robusto. It was fantastic. Wanted another one, so I wound up smoking the 6x60 core line Maduro like the following day. Didn't enjoy it as much, but enjoyed it quite a bit. And I have one left that I'll probably try to do some sort of review on, so I can't smoke it unless I plan on firing up the camera. So that kind of sucks. I wish I had more. They were really good. And I got a couple of core lines that I haven't tried yet. I mean, I tried the core line at the trade show, but not since. Outside of that, I've been smoking a fair amount of the Nestor Miranda Special Selection Oscuro Buckhead Edition. Those cigars are just fantastic. It's amazing how that one added Lajero leaf changes the blend so dramatically. I mean, it used to be the Nestor Miranda Special Selection Oscuro was something that was decent. I mean, my shop used to get them. Kensington used to get them when they were made by STC Cigars. I think it's STC out of Honduras. It was Gran Habano. I used to like them, and I really liked the Lancero. And then I guess they decided to change gears and go with the hot hand and have Pepin make them. And with Pepin making them, price went up a bit, and I just didn't think that they were really worth the money that they were asking for them, so I stopped smoking them. And then I got a Buckhead edition from Paul right after my daughter was born, and really enjoyed it. And then, of course, I thought, well, it's probably pretty similar, so I bought some more of the regular Nestor Miranda, didn't really like them, and I've been smoking the Buckhead edition ever since. I recently got a box, and before that I got a couple of 5-packs.
Yeah, I had, I think he sent me one or two of those with an order that I did with him the one time, I believe. And it was all right. It was enjoyable, but it was stronger than I normally like. It's just, I'm a wuss. Hey, I'll admit it. Oh, and the other one, I mean, I have thoroughly 100% enjoyed those Gran Habano, the Gran Reserva number 3s. Was it 2008 Gran Reservas number 3s or whatever? I absolutely love that stuff.
The ones in the cedar or whatever that is.
No, I think I gave you at least one of them up at Cigar Fest. Has the beige band on it. I did a review on it.
I don't think I have any. Oh, look.
They're a lower cost. I did a review on them, I believe.
Was that vintage or Reserva or whatever it was? The one with the
Reserva.
cedar. The one I'm talking about is the one that had the cedar wrap on it. It was most of the length of the cigar. That was really good.
I don't think these have cedar on them.
Vintage 2007 or Gran Reserva something or others.
Yeah, this one was Gran Reserva number 3. Pretty sure on that. I'm going to look it up because now I'm really confused at what the hell I even smoke. But I went through over a box of them really, really fast, and it was just amazing how good how well I like that smoke. Yes, I'm looking it up right now. I have to find the G's. I forgot my alphabet there for a second.
Well, back to this cigar. I don't know how much more I can smoke it. It's like killing me. I'm starting to get congested. My eyes are burning. It's taking my breath away. You see me scooting off camera. It's just to get the hell away from the cigar. It's pretty potent. The resting smoke coming off of it.
It's I have a pretty decent amount of airflow in here that I can get rid of it usually. Sometimes the heavier smoked cigars kind of linger a little bit.
I never really have problems. The only times I ever have problems in here is when I forget to turn the exhaust fan on. And then after like half a cigar, the smoke is drooping from the ceiling, and my eyes are burning, and it's like, oh, duh, I got to turn the fan on. But in this case, I've got the usual airflow, and the cigar is just killing me.
It's a Gran Habano Gran Reserva number 3. I reviewed the Gran Robusto size, and it's a 6x54, basically a Toro. In my eyes, but I did. I mean, I think that cigar is just amazing, and the cost of it, I think it was, I know it was under $100 a box. But, oh, and the other one, there's another one I smoked. I always screw the damn name up. It's two-tone. It's the two wrappers.
Oh, the Cabinetta.
Drew Estates. Yeah.
Hoyt and Nicaragua.
Hoyt and Nicaragua. The Cabinetta. I actually, well, you had one too, I believe, up at Cigar Fest.
Well, I was given the Lancero, and I smoked it a couple of weeks later. I mean, it was okay. I mean, it didn't wow me.
I like again, I like about the Toro size in them too. And I pick them up usually every time I go over to Columbia because they have them there.
Yeah, they're kind of mild. I mean, when it comes to Hoyt and Nicaragua, you know, I like the Antonio, the 1970, and I like the Celebration too. It's been a really long time since I've had one, but I bought a box of those a couple of years ago. I don't even know if there's any left, but those are pretty good too. A step down from the Antonio, but yeah, when it comes to Hoyt and Nicaragua, I like the Antonio.
Don't think I've ever had one because they scare me.
No, I think you got some and you gave them away.
Did I?
Yeah, because I was going to give you one at Cigar Fest, and I think you said, "Oh, I had some of those, and I gave them away." Then I was afraid of them.
Yeah, that could be.
I was scared. I gave them away.
It was the.
But you know, that Hoyt and Nicaragua's doing that new project with Drew Estates. My Uzi weighs a ton. I haven't tried them. I wasn't one of the bloggers to get samples. The packaging looks fantastic. I really like that brown paper packaging. But it sounds interesting. Brian reviewed the cigar, and you know, maybe one of these days I'll get to try it. But you know, they're large ring gauge stuff, so you know, I'm not eager to run out and try one just because of the size. But you know, it has grabbed my interest quite a bit.
Yeah, I'd like to try actually the bigger size. They have what, like a 6, 7, and 8 inch in a 60 ring gauge or something like that, or is it a 5, 6, 7? Can't remember how it goes. But yeah, I would definitely like to try the bigger one.
It's like Billy Club tree limb and the entire tree. It's they get pretty big.
It's amazing. But yeah, you know, I like the longer smokes. I like to be able to sit down here a couple hours and smoke a cigar and, you know, just chill out. But I was thinking of something. I can't remember what the hell it was. I know.
Yeah, it's amazing. The cigar does not taste as bad as the resting smoke smells.
It still has a funky taste, and I can't place it.
I mean, it's not so grassy anymore. It's got like a hay straw kind of a taste. Still some spiciness. It's just like natural tobacco across the palate. Still middle of the road as far as, you know, creaminess versus dry. Medium bodied, kind of harsh in the back of the throat. But yeah, I'm trying to stay away from it as far as I can.
Yeah, see, now
it's killing me.
I'm down here, and harshness has come back for me now. It actually went away for quite a while there in the center. Now it just it definitely came back. It's not. I mean, it's not an awful cigar. I could see smoking them here and there, but I just don't see me grabbing one, you know, like a daily smoke or anything.
Yeah, I really don't see myself picking these up very often. I mean, you know, even for, you know, $4 to $5 or whatever they are, or $5.50. You did say what the prices were. Between $3.95 and $5.50. I still don't see myself picking these up very often. You know, it's just not really my thing. It burns great, you know, visually, and the construction is awesome. So, I mean, it's a good solid cigar. It's just not my thing.
Yeah, like I said, I'd like to try one that's actually been released, and just to see if there's any difference or not. You know, I don't know. Like you said, you've had these for a little while, so I mean, you've aged them.
Accidentally.
Yeah. But anyway, I cannot think of what that popped into my brain. Really can't. Oh, I still like the Room 101 808s. but the price is just, I just pick them up very, very, very rarely. Other than that, and of course my Devils. Oh my God, I can't live without them. Yeah.
Well, this cigar is getting pretty harsh. We are practically out of discussion topics, so if there's anything that you want to close out with, feel free. Otherwise, we can just wrap up this video.
Nope, I'm about done. Just hopefully we'll see a bunch of people at Cigar Expo when we go, and look forward to Brian and Jerry's IPCPR coverage, which is they actually had tons and tons of coverage up there, which will be neat to see all the new stuff. So I'm looking forward to that myself. That's all I got.
And again, if you're local to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, or Columbia, Pennsylvania, shoot us an email, and if you're interested in hanging out for a herf that we're small informal herf that we're putting together, shoot us an email, and we'll get you the details as soon as we know what's going on.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. With that said, happy smoking, and take it easy.